When do you want me to bring them out?
I'm gonna go
Okay.
back.
Okay. I think we're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I know you're here.
Okay.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
You do your stuff and then.
I have on my phone with the 18%, so I hope it's like
under 3 minutes. We want to hear from as many people as possible. Please keep your comments respectful, clean, and on topic. If you're disruptive or use offensive language, we may ask you to leave. If you are a written comment, please use time. You can give it to myself or Desiree, the one of our leader, and you can take it for you. If you decide you want to speak, but you just sign up yet, you can sign us and sign up as well. Without further ado, I'd like to bring up the Attorney General.
Good evening, Arizona. Thank you so much for being here. We're overwhelmed by this turnout. We appreciate you so much. I am your Attorney General, Kris. Thank you for being here tonight, and especially our Attorney General who traveled to be here with us for our very first in-person AG Community Impact hearing. We will be holding more of these hearings throughout the country to talk about and to gather information about the federal firings and those trusts that are harming people and communities across our country. So please help me give a warm welcome again to Arizona to New Mexico AG Raul Torres, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield, and Minnesota AG Pete Ellison. Don't agree with the stances that we as Attorney Generals have taken. That is okay. In a democracy, it is okay to have opposing views. but there are also a lot of people here tonight who have lost their jobs or who had to lay off their employees and they are in crisis mode. So I want to ask that everyone please remain respectful tonight. We can share our viewpoints obviously without tearing each other down. For many people in this room are deeply personal. This is not just a policy debate. It is their livelihoods, their families, and their futures. So let's approach this conversation, I know Arizona as well, with respect and empathy and a shared commitment to hearing each other out. Over the past several weeks, my office, along with the Attorney General across the country, have filed a series of lawsuits against the Trump administration, not because we don't think that reform or efficiency are needed in federal government. I don't think there's a single American in this country who thinks the federal government is working exactly the way it should. But reform should be done lawfully. Through the constitutional processes that exist for that very purpose, not through unilateral decisions that upend the livelihoods of hardworking Americans, throw entire communities into chaos, or violate the privacy of American citizens. The Constitution provides clear avenues for reforming the federal government. Congress, with the people's representatives, is empowered to oversee and shape the federal agencies that serve this country. Changes to federal programs and funding must be made through the legislative process or other lawful means. Not by executive overreach or backdoor maneuvers that disregard the rule of law. The lawsuits that we have filed aren't about resisting change, they are about ensuring that change happens the right way. Unilateral actions that destroy the livelihoods of public servants and Americans with cruelty and chaos. And let us be clear, chaos is not efficient. Slashing jobs, cutting essential services, and leaving communities scrambling to pick up the pieces is not efficiency, it is destruction. Not from haphazard cuts that abruptly destroy lives. Listen, heartbreaking emails and phone calls have been pouring into my office over the past month. The impacts to our entire state, and especially rural Arizona, are astounding. As some of you know, I am from rural Arizona. We are here to listen to those stories tonight. Connect the dots on how our communities are being impacted by these cuts and firings, and to hear how Attorney General like us are fighting to protect folks by fighting back against the chaos in our courts. It is important to understand that more than 70% of the county health department's funding in Arizona comes from federal dollars, and local businesses like Cozy Home and Flagstaff are having to lay off their employees because the federal IRA funds are being withheld from our state's energy efficiency program, funds that would help a large number of lower-income Arizonans who are already facing high energy bills and to make their homes more energy efficient. Not to mention, it would help with utility bills in a state that has seen a massive increase in heat-related deaths over the past decade. We are fighting because it matters to workers, to families, to businesses and nonprofits, and to the future of our state and our country. When step up and to defend the people that we serve. And that is why we're doing what we're doing. And I want to add, it also falls to all of you. And each and every one of you who is here tonight is a patriot. To sacrifice and to fight for our country, and to fight for our future and the future of our kids. And that's what you are doing, and that's what your Attorney General are doing. Please welcome first New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres.
So I really want to just start by thanking your Attorney General for all of her leadership, all of her incredible hard work, and her commitment to you, to the state of Arizona, to this country. And, you know, I know there are a lot of complicated legal questions that are likely to arise. There are a lot of nuances that are built into the legal arguments that we presented, but I think it's important to offer a personal perspective. To give you a sense of my motivation and my understanding of how this is impacting lives and how it's impacting communities. I am the son of two very proud public servants. My mom is a very school teacher, and my father was one of the longest-serving federal prosecutors in the state. And one of my earliest memories as a child was waking up in the middle of the night, hearing something in the kitchen, and the house was dark. And I remember going in the kitchen as a child, and there was only one light in that house, and it was the light of the kitchen table. And it was my dad. And he was preparing for trial. Didn't understand what that meant. I didn't really understand what the word was. And it wasn't until many years later that I followed in his footsteps as a prosecutor, that I had some sense of the obligation and some sense of why someone would choose to commit themselves to others. And I hold that memory in my heart. I think about it every single day, because what I hear in Washington, D.C., from the president and from Elon Musk and from others is a language that is stripped of any command. Stripped of any understanding of what truly makes America great. I was raised in Catholic faith, but my civic faith is tied to my father's service to this country and to one of the things that he made a point to do when he took me as a child to Washington, D.C. He took me to see the Supreme Court, where he showed me the description of the justice of the law. He took me to the Lincoln Memorial, and he stood with me. He and I read those words together. And I still believe that the core of what makes America great is our commitment to preserving a country and a government that is built and driven of the people, by the people, for the people. Is the notion that we go about our work trying to find better agents of our nature, and that we do so with malice towards none and and with charity for all. It is generosity they are concerned. It is hope. It is everything that my father committed his entire life to doing in service of others. He is not a sucker. He is not a fool. His service to his fellow men and to his country is profoundly meaningful. He was raised in a generation that was specifically called by their president to ask not what their country could do for them, but what they could do for their country. And when he went to work every single day trying to help people, to try and protect people, to try and lift people up and find justice in our courtrooms, he didn't ask anybody if they were Republican. He didn't ask anybody if they were Democrat. He was an American serving others. That's what he is not alone. People that spend their lives trying to study diseases or look for cures for cancer or provide some pathway for veterans trying to recover. These are public servants. We don't ask them if they're Republicans or Democrats. We don't demean what they do. We don't degrade who they are. We respect the service. We respect the commitment, the shared commitment that we all have to one another. And look, I understand, as the Attorney General referenced, that not everyone agrees with the actions that I've taken. And as a former federal prosecutor and a federal employee, I can tell you I have been in so many meetings that I wish I could have a greater voice on the impact of the dollar spent, or the efficacy of a policy decision, or making government effective and smart and impactful. But you don't do that through chaos and disorder. You don't do that with mindless destruction of federal agencies. You don't do that by disrespecting and humanizing America's public service. You just don't do that. Remember that these are our friends, these are our neighbors, these are our fellow Americans. They have children, they have families, they're doing honorable work, and they deserve our gratitude. And if you want to make America great, and if you want to make government work, you do it by following the law, by respecting the and I really saw what makes this country truly exceptional. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here today. My name is Dan Rayfield, and I am from the state of Oregon. Sir. Last night, as I came from Oregon, I was sitting in the airport, was incredibly important to me, just put my phone on and try and listen to them last night, singing the air. And I sat there and I listened. State of confusion is right. As I sat there and listened, there was one thing that was absolutely missing from the president's comments last night. And that was the impact of the decisions that he and his administration are making, that are having on all our communities across this country. And that's why I found it incredibly important that as a team of Democratic Attorneys General, we are going around this country to listen to you, because the president is unwilling to listen to you and how these things are impacting our communities, our public services, the public safety. We will do it for him, and we will travel this country to be able to listen to you, and that's why it's so important. diving into this important discussion, I want to take a moment to emphasize something that is absolutely central to this issue. The President does not have unilateral power to simply disregard Congress's decisions, to dismantle services and parts of our government. The Constitution is clear. When Congress allocates money to the federal government, the administration cannot prevent the money from being used for a stated purpose. In other words, while the President may be a powerful person, he does not have some sort of superpower that lets him travel back in time to veto the decisions that have already been approved. The President had worked with Congress to make budget cuts through legal legislative process we wouldn't need today. But that's not what's happening. These moves by the administration are as legal as they are reckless. And as Attorney General, it is our duty to make sure that the law is followed, and that our system of checks and balances is respected, and that public servants are not unjustly removed from their positions because of political interests. This country, from Oregon to Arizona to New York, over the past month, we have witnessed a disturbing pattern of federal workers being fired, pushed out, or silenced. Our office in Oregon has been inundated with calls and emails from people affected by these unprecedented and unlawful terminations. And I'm talking about people who work in our national force, the Department of Veteran Affairs, workers that are Bonneville Power Administration and the IRS. All let go with no notice, and in many cases, decades of public service. The stories we're hearing in Oregon are heartbreaking. One email received from a worker in the Portland IRS office when he lost his job, when right around Thanksgiving he learned of the stage 3 cancer he returned. Then just 1 week after President Trump's inauguration, on January 26th, he received his forward in the road letter that essentially said that he resigned or risk being downsized, that's right, downsized, out of a job. He chose to continue working and underwent cancer surgery on February 3rd. 2 weeks later, while still recovering from his life-saving procedure, he was fired. What happened is careless, it's inhumane, and as he said to us, to tell devoted civil servants without any proof that their performance is inadequate is an injustice and it is illegal. Another person who contacted us worked at the U.S. Geological Survey in Eugene, Oregon. I'm sorry, we're getting back to this. She joined the USGS after earning a master's degree in years of service in the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps. She was working on efforts to improve communication in the aftermath of earthquakes, and also assisting scientists researching bird flu, among other things. This job gave her a chance to continue a life of public service. It also gave her the opportunity to purchase her first home. But she had to back out of escrow on February 14th, when she was fired through some boilerplate letter received by thousands of federal employees. And she later lost a home, and we lost a dedicated public servant. These are just two of the countless stories, I imagine many stories we will hear tonight, that we've heard in the past few weeks. And what's behind this massive federal firings, a new federal department created without congressional approval, and with apparently absolutely no oversight, no transparency, and no accountability, which is again what we're hearing tonight. All overseen by a president of the donor who's operating without any official government title. We have systems in place for 220 years that rely on checks and balances based on the principle that no branch of government is too powerful. Trump and Musk are trying to sidestep that and grant the executive branch unlimited power. They're taking money in Congress that has been approved for schools, medical research, for emergency assistance, public safety, and road construction projects, and they're wiping out the school. Thank you again for being here tonight. I'm proud to be your representative of Torrez.
Because you care so much about our great country. You may be wondering why would somebody with an Attorney General from Oregon, Mexico, Minnesota, get on an airplane, come all the way here to be with Unite, and the real reason is all of our states. The truth is we're all experiencing the same thing you are experiencing. And tonight is your night. We want to hear from you. I want to say there's a quote from a guy named Abraham. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. But Abraham said, in this age, in this country, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing to bear. Against it, nothing can succeed. Whoever knows public sentiment goes deeper than he who enacts statutes or pronounces judicial decisions. We believe the public doesn't like a lot of things that have been happening in Washington. And we believe if you have a chance to tell your truth, to listen to your neighbors, you just might get up there on that microphone and tell your own story. You just might, get out there and reach out to somebody who lives in your village, who lives on your block. That is so critically important. There's an African proverb that says, when a strong person walks in the room, all backs straighten. You know what it means? It means that we all can get courage from each other. We all can get who here is going to learn about some of the stuff that is happening. So it's good for us to be together, it's good for us to hear from each other, and it's good for us to know that we all are committed to make sure that we are a nation of laws and not men, and that we are going to make sure that this country's promise is delivered on through a democratic electoral process, not just some guy who issues executive orders as he feels like it on one given day. We have filed a bunch of lawsuits. We froze the phrase. We're saying that the appointments clause of the Constitution being violated by having this unelected oligarch just rummaging through our government. We have filed lawsuits. We haven't lost yet, folks. Save America will not be won in a courtroom. It will be won in the court of public opinion. It will be won by you. Let's have a good night.
Let's get started. We're going to start, I'm going to call 3 people up at a time. And so we're going to have some microphones. So we're going to start with
Two of my colleagues were also fired that day, all probationary staff. This is training in the fire department. Since I've been fired, the BACA had to cancel a number of music therapy and recreation therapy groups. We're unable to meet staff ratios in the community center, and we're unable to provide programming as required by Medicare guidelines. Couple examples. One staff member was removed from a position with homebound veterans. One staff member was removed from a national position with the wheelchair aids. Inpatient recreation therapy programming has been reduced. How can music therapy in the infusion clinic with veterans who have cancer has been canceled? A virtual music therapy group, something I started to address the needs of homebound veterans, that has been canceled. A number of other programming has been canceled as well on a bunch of bases. Hopefully they will return like therapeutic guitar, music ensemble, and other programs. In total, last week, 84 veterans did not get to go to their music or recreation. 84. These senseless tasks are critical people. It's shameful that we aren't supporting women and men volunteering to serve the military, and it's shameful that they're not providing care they deserve. Thank you for your support.
Next up, we have Karen from Sweet Karen. Good evening, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Karen Mother. I'm a proud Arizona native, a new mom, and a wife of a dedicated firefighter. I'm the Arizona representative for the Southwest Energy Efficiency Project, or SWEEP, a nonprofit dedicated to helping everyday Arizona save money on their utility bills while building a stronger state economy through the hard work of energy efficiency. So tonight, I'm here to talk about why that matters and why the devastating impact these federal freezes are already having on customers every day. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, Arizonans have watched their cost of living skyrocket, especially their utility bills. So maybe just for a moment, let's just do a very short poll. Raise your hand if you feel like your energy bills have gone up in the last 5 years. I think that speaks for itself. So one of the most effective ways we can ease this burden is through energy efficiency. It is more than just a cost-saving measure. It is a powerful tool for improving our daily lives. It means using less energy to achieve the same results, whether it's keeping our home school, cooking meals, or powering essential devices. By making our homes more energy efficient, families can cut their utility bills, reduce pollution, and enjoy safer, more comfortable living conditions. But the benefits go beyond individual households, as energy efficiency can lead to a cleaner air, a stronger power grid, and a more resilient future for all. But despite all these benefits, and despite of the clear, data-driven history of energy efficiency since the 1970s, the freezes are having a devastating impact, and many programs in the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law are now currently being unfolded until further notice. So these funding freezes are creating barriers for advancing vital programs that help homeowners and communities adopt energy efficient technologies. For many, these programs are key to reducing energy costs and improving their home comfort. A delay in funding has led to missed opportunities to weatherize homes, install energy-saving appliances, and upgrade heating and cooling systems. So, thanks to what the Inflation Reduction Act made available for tax credits, already more than 46,000 Arizona households have been able to improve the value of their home by adding insulation, repairing duct and air sealing, replacing outdated windows, and installing electric heat pumps. However, if these freezes continue, homeowners will have less opportunities to increase the value of their homes while contributing to the local economy. So let's talk about the economy next. Small contracting businesses were set to have a major boom from these programs, with the energy efficiency industry already rising to more than 40,000 strong across the state of Arizona. However, these jobs, these jobs do not require a college degree, and they allow people to support their families without a four-year university education, of which there are very few opportunities like that today. So without these resources, more and more contractors continue to lose their jobs, and unfortunately, many in Arizona already have. Even though they have participated and they were hired to do these jobs, specifically for these programs, unfortunately, they're out of luck. And since the 1970s, the Arizona Weatherization Assistance Program has helped more than 20,000 income-eligible households weatherize their homes and make their homes more safe and secure. And thanks to bipartisan infrastructure law, weatherization has been extended, and since 2022, thousands of homes have been able to weatherize their homes, making them healthy, secure, and more energy efficient. So, if these freezes continue, more than 800 households this year will be vulnerable to indoor heat-related illness and even heat-related death due to lack of proper cooling equipment in their home. Weatherization contractors and practitioners were ready to see families prepare for Arizona's extreme summer heat, but now that critical work, as we're fast approaching the hot summer months, is on hold until further notice. So I will just say, in a state where overnight temperatures are remaining above 100 degrees, air conditioning is not a luxury, it is a human right, and it is a lifeline. We are so grateful for all of your support and listening to the story today. So we believe now is the time to act. We must restore and expand these resources and ensure that every Arizonan, no matter their income and no matter where they live, has access to the benefits of these life-saving programs. Thank you. Good evening, my name is Amy Carr. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the director for the Sierra Club Canyon chapter, which is the Arizona chapter. I've lived in Arizona most of my life. I love Arizona. I love the land. I love the people. I wanted to thank you all for being here for Arizonans, and for people across the United States, and for pushing back on this harmful agenda that has resulted in the thoughtless firing of thousands of people, including those who care for our public lands. And I want to really focus in on this because Arizona is really blessed. We have 28 million acres of public lands in our state. 3 national parks, Grand Canyon, Saguaro, and Torres, as well as places like the Superstition Wilderness that's part of the Tonto National Forest, Sonoran Desert National Monument that has 0 land management lands. These places provide extensive opportunities for recreation. They provide key wildlife habitat and corridors and habitat for plants, and some of these are found no place else on the planet. Public lands provide us with clean water and clean air. And Arizonans love and enjoy our public lands. And I also want to, in recognizing these lands, recognize that they're all indigenous lands. And these lands are under threat due to actions by the Trump administration, including the firing of thousands of public lands workers who care for public lands and the people who visit them. At Grand Canyon, which is one of 22 national park units we have in Arizona, it's been reported already that the lines are double the wait times that they should be at this time of year. And we know that there have been more than 1,000 National Park Service employees that have been fired without cause, really. And down south at Saguaro National Park, they are closing the visitor center on certain days, and that means people don't have access to important information that can help them enjoy the lands, but also be safer on public lands. And that's another thing I want to mention is for the National Forest, which I think have probably gotten the biggest hit as far as losing employees. There are a lot of people that are providing information about trail conditions, and that helps keep people safe and informed about what's going on. They do restoration. And for those of us who like to be out hiking and camping on our public lands, they provide important services. That also means fewer people out there protecting cultural and natural resources. And we saw some of those suffer during COVID when there were fewer people available to help out with that. I want to mention on Livelihoods, that was our public lands. There was a recent poll that found that Arizona's unanimously view national parks and natural beauty as essential to our state's identity and they also agree that the government has a responsibility to protect public land, that indigenous tribes should play a role in protecting and managing ancestral land.
Yes.
And guaranteeing outdoor recreation. So protection of these lands is important culturally and recreationally and ecologically, but it's also really important economically. And I wanted to add that as well. They're not, these actions that are being taken by this administration are not just unwise relative to our enjoyment and access to the land. They harm our economy.
That's right.
Outdoor recreation generates billions of dollars for the Arizona economy. And in 2023, there were 4.7 million visitors to Grand Canyon National Park alone. They spent $768 million in nearby communities that supported more than 10,000 jobs and $350 million in labor income and about $1 billion in economic output. So, thank you for being strong, for supporting the lands, for supporting the people, and also for supporting the laws that are supposed to protect us.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Leach. I'm representing today and I'm the CEO of Prison Community Care, the largest formal event in Southwest for HIV/AIDS. And I want to start off by saying that as a queer person, HIV and STIs are not limited to my community.
Amen.
Right? And I think it's a crazy assumption that 75% of the room probably is. Which means that everyone in this room on some level, your communities or you are at risk for HIV and STIs. When the government grows funding, the funding that is provided to us through these grants allow us to build the largest free HIV and STI tester in America economy. Because if you want to come to us, it's probably not county, it's no disrespect to county. And we also do treatment and prevention on site. We provide vital, necessary primary health care, mental health care. We provide case management and nutrition for low-income individuals living with HIV. All of these things are at risk because we were told that we were focusing on DEI and gender ideology. So in order to serve our clients, our community, not all of them are queer, we were told that we had to take the very fabric of who we are out of our language. The grants were written were specific for these communities to ensure that they can be protected so that all communities are protected. What you have done is allowed us to continue our work. 21% of my funding comes from federal grants. It covers 40% of my staff. I've already had to lay off 3 individuals that were vital to our operations. So what I need to ask is that you continue the fight and then recognize our communities need you more than ever. Thank you. speaking to you tonight as a physician who has dedicated my life and career to caring for patients seeking sexual and reproductive health care. I'm trained as an obstetrician gynecologist and have been board certified in obstetrician gynecology and complex science planning. In addition to delivering babies and performing gynecologic surgery, I have performed abortions for the past 15 years. I currently supervise 25 advanced practice clinicians and physicians in the delivery of essential reproductive health care at Planned Arizona. As a physician dedicated to this field, I have weathered a long storm of government interference into my intimate practice of medicine. I have navigated politically useless rules and regulations, been forced to perform medical actions without any benefits to my patients, and been required to give patients information that I know to be untrue and misleading. All because non-medical politicians, touting junk science, are dictating how I take care of my patients. Life-saving abortion care. I continue to have my practice heavily regulated. But we, the Arizona people, fought back and the power of our the onslaught of misinformation, threats, and the propagation of non-evidence-based treatments and therapies coming from the new administration harms our patients and erodes the public's trust in the medical system. Since the election, I have heard patient after patient express fear that they will not be able to access care that they know to be critical to their current and future well-being. I took care of a patient last week who was crying, panicked about her access to contraception. She wasn't a candidate for the longest-acting universal contraceptive device we had before their IUD, and she had to settle for a 5-year implant. She asked me, what am I going to do in 5 years? Will I even be allowed to have birth control? Will I even be able to afford it? Especially for my transgender patients trying to access gender-affirming care. The threat is in the room, but the reality is already here. In droves, patients are submitting paperwork to ensure their gender or change requests are processed before that option disappears. Patients are taking stockpile medications knowing they may no longer be available. I've been receiving requests from patients previously receiving therapy to a hospital, which is altered gender affirming care under a recent EO, begging to be seen. The fact that these bullying actions of our government are targeting the already most marginalized communities should infuriate us all. Clinical decision-making belongs to the clinician and the patient. And the deterrent effect it goes is also particularly heartbreaking. Patients will not seek care when they fear that their health and personal data may be accessed by those who are seeking to deport them. I'm thinking of an immigrant patient from South America, a person who is a mom trying to take care of her children, who was violated multiple times, making her way to the United States. She needed an abortion as a result of her race. Everyone deserves dignified health care and to live with dignity. Like so many other physicians have worked my entire adult life, reading, studying, analyzing, doing direct training to be equipped with the immense privilege of providing health care. Imagine my sister and I, along with so many colleagues, was forced to hastily download clinical guidelines and literature from the CDC website before these trusted resources were removed. These are guidelines that help physicians navigate different medical conditions that find the most appropriate birth control method. These guidelines are by treating molecules for STIs. How are literal facts being canceled? Why is evidence-based literature being censored? What a disgrace to have the knowledge and the training and the skills to improve the health and lives of our communities and to not be able to do so at the direction of politicians. The medical community does not tolerate the medical interference. Our patients' lives depend on our assistance.
Martin Luther King said, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. From age day 1 to age 100, and 1/3 of my patients are covered by Medicaid, which is called access here in Arizona. Losing coverage from many Arizona state less well, less healthy, put our rural and safety net hospitals at risk, like the Attorney General said earlier. I can tell you dozens of stories, but I'm just going to choose 2 to tell you. Last week, I heard from one of my patients, Mrs. B, who takes care of her husband, Mr. B, who's debilitated from a stroke. He's also my patient. I shared this story with her from the show. Mrs. B had breast cancer, which had metastasized to her bones. It's still treatable, but recently she had told me that she lost her access insurance and then have to put her cancer treatment on hold. Obviously, that adds to her stress to deal with all the insurance issues. And so, how many similar stories would we like? Healthcare for more people. And now I'll tell you a success story. Last week, I saw a newborn baby, 3 days old, with her mom and dad who were both first time. The baby was having trouble gaining weight in the first few days, and I was worried. So I talked to mom and dad, and we came up with a plan, including following up in 2 days. And they got later, they didn't gain weight. She did great. The parents were absolutely beaming. But I wondered what would happen if we didn't have insurance coverage to be seen by a family physician for a time in your life. So I really appreciate you being here, listening to these stories, putting names and faces and voices to all these amazing people that are here to call attention to the unjust and inhumane action and changes that will strip away healthcare from people that need it most.
Next up, we have Raul, Superintendent for Raul School District, Violetta Ramos, and Felipe Carranza, both from the Osborne School District.
Superintendent of the Osborne School District, one of the elementary feeder school districts in the Phoenix Union, and you guys are all seated right now within the Osborne School District. I'm also here to talk about the teacher school leader incentive program, which is something that we're involved in, and we were involved in until a couple weeks ago. The goal of this grant was clear to ensure that every student, regardless of their background or zip code, had access to excellent education. For us at Osborne, it means something profound, putting our students first. One of the key elements of this grant is the role of master teachers. Instructional coaches who work with teachers provide immediate professional development, classroom observations, and provide critical feedback. These coaches are instrumental in helping our teachers find skills, especially our newer teachers. And so we don't have research-based instructional strategies rolled out across the entire campus. Additionally, mentor teachers lead grade level teams and help their peers through coaching, fostering collaboration, and the sharing of best practices. Our school had given this grant about $3 million over 3 years, so $1 million annually for this grant. These funds help support salaries, benefits, additional duties for teachers, and leadership coaching. And a large portion of the money, almost $500,000, goes towards performance-based compensation, which is tied to teacher performance, student success. Another portion of the project supports professional development and additional supports for our educators. However, on February 18th, we received troubling news that the Department of Education issued a cancellation notice for our grant, effective immediately, citing diversity, equity, and inclusion. The letter claimed that our grant, which is a component of the Teachers and Student Leaders Grant, was inconsistent with the federal priorities around DEI. What's concerning is that there was no specific mention or evidence in the letter as to how our grant promoted DEI for merit. The focus of this grant has always been on excellence in education. performance-based compensation, student achievement. As a result of this cancellation, Osborne is now facing significant loss. $500 million, I mentioned, goes towards performance-based compensation. We've been working 2/3 of this year. The work's done, but the compensation's not going to be there. There's also $250,000 in salaries. I've heard, still to be paid between now and June 30th. And we've heard stories from people here, we're going to hear more stories tonight about people that have lost their jobs. I'm proud to say that Osborne's going on our contracts through June 30th at the end of the school year. $4 million that we did not have budgeted, we'll pull it out of reserves. And I'm proud of my CFO for her great leadership and fiscal stewardship, and my governing board for standing behind me and saying, we're going to just honor these contracts. I also have my board president standing right behind me. I've got a meeting with her tomorrow. We're planning our agenda for March. Unfortunately, because of this grant cancellation 18 months before expected, one of the things I have to talk about tomorrow is putting on the agenda for our upcoming March meeting, a reduction in force, a reduction in teachers, in school leaders, in teacher leaders on our campuses. I'm proud of our teachers and I'm deeply saddened by having that conversation. I was just in DC last week to watch one of our school leadership teams presenting nationally to their peers about the excellence we've been able to attain in Osborne. Yet I had some of those same people on a Zoom call with me yesterday tell them about this and had here. It breaks my heart for our community. Osborne School District is got 7 school leaders, about 150 teachers, about 2,500 students that are counting this. I use that time in DC to reach out and visit representatives and senators across the aisle, both chambers, both sides of the aisle, to remind them that their authority is being usurped. They allocate these funds, and you guys are standing up for a process. Please continue to do that. I'm not. That's just not enough. I'm also seeking a reversal of improper cancellation. Directly on families in our case. So thank you guys for being in support of the community.
Hi everyone, my name is Livelihoods and I am Raul, part of the public education system. I am board president of the Osborne School District and I have 2 other board members who are standing behind me. We are in board and Greener. We all agree, we have 2 other teachers going to be here. We're all here because we want to represent our teachers and what we are losing in our community. So as elected officials, we are elected by our community to serve them, and unfortunately, we said just us, because we are now breaking that promise that we made to our community. That promise that we are breaking affects everyone in our community, our teachers, the parents that trust us, but most importantly, the students who are our future. It isn't fair that this power grab system be using the keywords to cut awareness, that will be leading forward members of our community that help us grow without the stability of a position. As you mentioned earlier, these need to be done in a legal way. And organizing our authority. Thank you for listening to us and advocating and fighting so that as a board member, as board members here, we can keep our promises to our community.
Good evening. I'm here to share how several job costs are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are real people, real families, and real consequences. If you and I lose my job, I am fortunate that the district, Osborne School District, will continue on my contract until then. As a father of the 3-year-old, this is just about my career. It's about my child's well-being right now. I'm struggling to keep up with the $800 a month tuition for a preschool that ensures that she has a safe and stable learning environment. Without my job, I don't know how I will afford to keep her in preschool. She is a preschool where she's at now. I have dedicated my career to education. That is 25 years of my life. My aim as a teacher, as a principal, and as a director has always been to support students and to strengthen our communities. But now I find myself facing uncertainties, wondering how I provide for my own family. The stress of this situation isn't just financial, it's emotional too. It's the fear of not knowing what comes next, or having to make a possible choice between my daughter's education and basic needs. And don't get me started on immigration. As a proud son of immigrant parents, my parents fled their home not because they wanted to, but because, as my mom says, we were mice living in the mouth of a serpent. I echo what you're hearing tonight. Families across Arizona and across the country are being forced into instability because of these job cuts and funding increases. The decisions are not abstract policy shifts. They are life-changing disruptions that affect our children's future. I urge you to continue to recognize the human impact that these actions have. Stability for families like mine should not be a luxury. It should be a priority. Thank you for listening.
Next up, we have Raul and Elise Torres and Adrian Lugarde. So, Liza, there we go. And then Elise.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Merrill. I've been a certified marketplace navigator for over 8 years. I serve individuals and families throughout the state of Arizona, apply for Medicaid, SNAP, and marketplace health insurance, which are all federally funded. Some data from 2024. 2 million Arizonans rely on Medicaid and CHIP, with the federal government covering over 80% of $22.2 billion that it cost. Almost 340,000 Arizonans were enrolled in Marketplace. 9% of whom rely on federal subsidy that helps pay for their premium. Arizona has almost 1.5 million residents who are Medicare beneficiaries, which is a lifetime program for the elderly and people with disabilities. By the way, 46% of births in Arizona were financed by Medicaid. I recently assisted a couple who had been working at labor-intensive low-paying jobs when the wife was diagnosed with lung and uterine cancer. Her husband had quit his job to care for her. She is in constant pain and has just started chemo and relies on Medicaid to pay for her treatments. She still greets me with the most beautiful smile. Some of the families I serve have special needs children or single parents or are taking care of elderly parents. One of the hardest things to do is to tell an elder that her Social Security income is $20 over the Medicare income limit. Her income barely covers rent, let alone food. So we try to find other resources, but even those are quickly becoming scarce. We've assisted families who sought asylum after helping the U.S. government fight wars in their lands. They were interpreters, lawyers, and doctors. It was too dangerous for them to stay in their countries, so we gave them a safe harbor. Federally funded programs gave these individuals and families a chance to rebuild their lives on this continent. Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP are among the social services Congress and DOGE. Just like all Americans, individuals and families do not want handouts. What they want is a hand up so that they can work and continue to provide for themselves and their families. They want to be able to eat, have a safe place to live, and have access to equitable and affordable health care. These are some of the basic needs that everyone should have, and not just the chosen few. Isn't this what American dream is all about? Gates, Torres, Elson, and Rayfield, we, the people of Arizona, ask that you all stop the calculated, cruel, and intentional dismantling of the programs and support and assist the most vulnerable members of our communities. We are Christians, we are here to speak because people have been suffering. People will needlessly die. We need your help.
We offer community-based food solutions in rural, urban, and tribal communities throughout the state. In the Valley, we're most known for our fleet of local produce markets called Farm Express, which provide reliable access to affordable fruits and vegetables at over 35 unique selling locations in the Valley each month. Our markets serve more than 12,000 Arizonans a year with healthy produce from farms across Arizona as well as in the surrounding border states and Mexico. I'll briefly share how these reasons have impacted our work from two perspectives, from mine and our partners' ability to operate our businesses and also for our customers' ability to access the foods that they need for themselves and their families. Administratively, several grants that we rely on and plan on for the next year have been terminated, which has caused me to not only change program plans and put critical food initiatives on hold, and eventually obviously making layoffs from my organization as funding resource food programs become more and more scarce. A lot of our funding partners are only foundations and they're indicated, and there's only so few dollars they have to take on anyway. So our pool of funds is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But the food that we sell to the community comes from local food hubs, which aggregate from small-scale farmers throughout Arizona. In the last 12 hours, 2 of our direct suppliers have told me that their businesses will go under if these freezes aren't lifted pretty imminently. If they close, it'll have catastrophic consequences for the 60 or so family farms that they source from, but it's also going to cut off our food supply for local food coming into entirety for our markets. Of course, the closing of these businesses goes far beyond a few people losing their jobs or a few acres that have food already in the ground going to waste, which in and of itself is terrible. But it will have ripple effects on the accounts of businesses and community members, including my own. Farmers make their crop plans in alignment with USDA funds, meaning that there's already food in the ground that would have been paid for using the funding now frozen by the federal government. Without those dollars, farmers are out of the costs associated with planting and growing, and are certainly out of the costs and the sales that they'll get back from the food that they sell. In our community, our customers are rationing their food dollars and their SNAP benefits for fear that the current administration will cut off their benefits entirely. Regulars of mine have told us that they're too afraid to get the foods that they need and are foregoing basic food staples because their benefits are cut off next month. We're talking about seniors and families already experiencing significant financial barriers and food access issues. Our markets are very affordable and they do offer some relief to our customers, but they're pretty much useless for our customers that can't access them or won't use their benefits to get the foods they need. At sites where we provide access to food for patients enrolled in the diabetes prevention program, we've seen drastic dips in our sales, mostly because those customers are too afraid to come shop with us on the bus. Sometimes clinic staff are shopping for them and getting food to the families. Other times they just completely fallen off the radar because their feet are isolated at any moment. These patients are experiencing food insecurity and low income and have very few resources outside of our food programs, so their access to our services is going to have detrimental effects to their health and well-being. I'm setting alert protocols, I'm handing out know your rights cards, but it all feels futile. I can't convince my customers that it's safe to shop when it's not. I've built my program over the last 11 years into a trusted, reliable, and safe source for food. We build lasting relationships with the community, our neighbors, who rely on us to feed their families and give them choices in an already limited food environment. What is happening is heartless and it's cruel and it will have catastrophic consequences for the families that we serve for our organization for years to come. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, Attorney General. My name is Attorney General Dan Executive Director in Health Prevention. We are a statewide nonprofit here in Arizona with a huge aspect of our initiative dedicated to cultivating just food system. I'm so fortunate to work with partners like the police, farmers, food insecure folks all across Arizona to make sure that our farmers are getting good food that they grow to the folks that they lost. These programs that have been most deeply impacted by the development of new breeds not only exist in here in Arizona, but in each of your states too. We have about 50% of our federal funds that are currently frozen coming from the USDA. The last direction that we were given was that they will not be reimbursing for any services beyond January 19th. So we have farmers that have put out those dollars that were on contracts that are for reimbursement, that were promised that they were going to get infrastructure dollars and funding to help them prolong and expand their growing season here in Arizona, which is critical. And then there are heat, and then there are climate crises, and they cannot be reimbursed. They have no kind of date in sight as to when that will happen as well too. These programs not only help to generate revenue for farmers, but they also are ensuring that folks who are the most limited can get access to those good foods. And so for every month that passes, we are out $500,000 in revenue to our farmers. That is also $500,000 that goes back to community members as well too. I have been building numerous calls from farmers that are operating in the red and are this close to having to close down their farm businesses. This funding increase not only impacts those that are participating in federal food assistance programs, but all of us, because food is a fundamental human right, and we need to eat every single day to survive. And if we don't have a robust local food system that's here to support us and help us, it impacts us all, and we're all going to be feeling that we go to pay for our food and rising the food costs, or we are today. So I'm begging you to help keep our food and farm businesses open and alive and growing, so that we can continue to support folks like the police, all of our farmers and our businesses here in Arizona.
And I just ask a follow-up question. So what you and Elise were saying is, it sounds like USDA is still not sending you the money, so they're pursuing another, it sounds like they are violating the PR1. This is important information. And we had to go back and get court twice, to get what's called a motion to compel. The farmers are still not being.
Correct. I have 4 pages worth of all the programs that I'm not together, I'm not here, and if you can read up here, but as effective January 19th, we cannot receive any funding and cannot get any case system and fix that money back.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Good evening, everyone, and the Attorney General and colleagues and all the citizens here. My name is Raul. I'm the co-founder and vice president of the African community. I come from Tucson to meet you guys here, and as a former SID holder, I want to make a lot of the SID is a social development visa for people who serve with the new starving and sitting over the overseas. I want to speak for These individuals put their lives in line for our patient, and now turning our back on them puts them and their families in danger. They are being targeted for their occasional use, and we must honor the promise we made to them. As someone that benefited from the settlement agencies, when my family and I first arrived in the United States, having federal time to the settlement agencies targeted SIV and refugee living in our communities. These agencies provide essential services like food, housing, medical care, and health, funding, job, and school for their children. Without the support, these families are left in a difficult situation. The founding cast have shattered the dream of those who fled violence and persecution, trusting that America will offer them safety and fresh start. These refugees have already risked everything to escape danger, and now they are being told that the only hope of surviving in safety in the United States is no longer an option for them. Creating our promise to those who serve with us and those that are in need, goes against the values that America stands for. We must stand by those who serve with us and keep our word to those that are suffering from the situation. Thank you.
Community Integration Program Manager at Livelihoods Social Services in the Southwest. Support for refugees, providing essential development services to help families rebuild their life with dignity. Our Refugee and Immigration Services Program assists those fleeing war, violence, and persecution from countries such as Sudan, Afghanistan, Syria, Burundi, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and others. These families arrive in the U.S. after years of suffering, having survived conflict, displacement, and refugee camps, only to now face yet another crisis in Arizona. The recent world order and freeze of foreign aid have created a domestic humanitarian crisis, leaving newly arrived refugees in an alarming state of uncertainty. The executive order and the immediate support for refugee settlement agencies across the state of Arizona, cutting off critical reception and placement funding, leaving recent refugee arrivals in the U.S. without the safety net they were promised. 90 days of critical services for their integration and support into self-sufficiency in our state. Now they are facing possible evictions, food insecurity, lack of access of medical care, employment support, and the list goes on. They are fully resource agency officers in Phoenix and 3 in Tucson. We are all being impacted in similar ways, with loss of resources, staff, talent, expertise, and experiences. Our organization is also receiving and a sub-recipient of federal grants through our national partners, Refugee and EMM. LSS has still not received payment for services already rendered and under a contract that is supposed to guarantee payment. This is for match grant and for preferred communities, which include medically fragile refugees. We are all $1,513,000 to our national partners. The impact this lack of reimbursement has had cannot be understated. We have to lay off 40 staff members and have to impact negatively our refugee clients in their integration process into self-sufficiency in Arizona. LSS is both contractually and morally obligated to continue supporting these families who have already suffered so much but cannot continue to do so without being paid for services. We have received in this fiscal year 300 arrivals in Phoenix and 148 in Tucson, including children. The total number of arrivals from all resettlement agencies is around 1,072 individuals. Lastly, the reduction in arrivals, many of those were family members traveling to Arizona to join their family members already here. Some belong within a day or a few days prior to arrival. This has been heartbreaking for thousands of people, emotionally, and reduces the national family support system that could have assisted further with immigration and family self-sufficient trajectories. This is so inhumane. I'll ask for your support. Thank you.
You just had laid off 48 employees. Is that correct?
All the resettlement agencies in Arizona are going through this. Whether or not it's fighting with the government.
Thank you. Tim Cox, then Brent Fine, and then Paul Russell. So come on forward, Tim, Brent, and Paul.
My name is Tim Cox, and I work for the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, which is the small civil rights agency in the United States Department of Labor. We enforce CEO and non-discrimination laws over federal contractors. We not only investigate compliance with federal contractors' obligations, we investigate discrimination complaints, and we also help federal contractors conduct outreaching in order to recruit qualified applicants. This past year, I spent a lot of time with community-based organizations,